welcome back to KD Gaming 5150. My name's Colin, this is my dad, and today we got a Switch 2!
That we did. We had an epic adventure going to get this Switch 2. We did some camping. You can check out the camping when we got this particular Switch 2 on the KDM Adventures channel. We'll put a link up right over here. I had an entire craziness of getting this thing. I have been up for a long period of time. I've been editing video to try and get the video up. So check the video out when I went to see how hard was it to find a Nintendo Switch 2 without a pre-order. So what we have here today is obviously the
Switch 2.
And we bought this one from Best Buy.
Have a good night. Enjoy the game.
There it is. We got the Switch 2 in our hands. Was the 3-hour line wait worth it?
Let's go!
Yes, and it is the bundle pack. Now, if you're wondering what this package is right here, this is the Walmart pre-order that we placed a little while ago, and we got it. We actually got ours. I know a lot of people out there were saying they didn't get theirs and they were a little disappointed in Walmart, and Walmart was just canceling people's orders for whatever reason it was. It seemed like there was some chatter out there of people saying that if you contacted Walmart and were asking too many questions, they just canceled it. I didn't ask any questions at all. I didn't even ask if there was a tracking number, if when it was going to ship, nothing. So I didn't know if we were going to get this. And this is the Nintendo Switch basic version. But let's show you what it is, and let's take a look at the differences, because I did mention that we did get 2 of these because we didn't know if we were going to get this, and we wanted to make sure we had this in our hands so that we have one for the channel. And we got this thing right here, which we'll talk a little bit more about in just a little bit. First, we're going to open this up here. We're going to actually see what's inside. We haven't even opened it yet. We don't even know if there's actually anything in here that we ordered, but hopefully it is what we ordered, because they said they dropped it off. And it was really weird when we got this thing. We ordered it, we pre-ordered it, they just sat there as a pre-order for a long period of time. They charged the credit card, and then they said that they were going to ship it. But they never gave a tracking number, they never said anything about it, all the way up until the day before. There was still no information about it, and then YouTube, look what just came right now. Walmart ordered our pre-order for the Switch 2, which I'm surprised came. It's 6:45 in the morning. There it is. Possibly our Switch 2 that we pre-ordered. So our pre-order looks like it showed up. It just showed up on my doorstep, 6:30 in the morning. So let's see what we got here. You're gonna do the honors, my boy. You're gonna pull this out of here. And look at that. It's another Switch 2, YouTube. We have 2 of these Switch 2s, and 2 plus 2 equals
4.
Well, it still equals 2 because we don't actually get 4 Switches. That would be pretty cool, though, if you did. We do have the other Switch here, and what I wanted to point out about these 2 things.
Is it evenly?
Yeah. What are the differences between the Switch Basic and the bundle? Well, as far as the box goes from the outside,
It's pretty much the same.
It's virtually identical from almost every angle. Every side, the tops, and the bottoms, they are all the same. Except this little guy right here, which is actually just a sticker. It is completely just a sticker. There's nothing special about it. They just slap the sticker right on the outside of the box. So all you get is a sticker, which also brings us to why I would rather have this versus this.
And we don't like the virtual copies.
Yes, and speaking of virtual copies, the basic set is $449. The bundle set is $499, which means you pay about $50 more for this one than this one plus the taxes, which turns out to being
$5.50?
$50 for a game. And the game that it comes with is Mario Kart Worlds, the newest Mario Kart game, which I am very excited about, and I believe Kai's very excited about. And it is, at the moment, the only game that we're really interested in that Nintendo makes for the Switch as of release date. They will be having some games come out in the future that we are excited about, and we will definitely get those and feature them on the channel, do some gameplay with it, but we haven't even got to the Switch yet. So for us, I would much rather buy this and pay $80 for the game Mario Kart Worlds that comes bundled in here. And you're probably thinking to yourselves, why the heck would you pay $30 more for the same thing? Well, to me, it's not. I definitely like to have
The physical copy.
Yes, on all of the game cartridges or games that we can get in a physical copy, I always buy the physical copy. It's just very nice to have the physical copy. It makes me feel better about having the game.
Bam. Bam.
And it allows it so that Kai and I can play the games between the two switches.
So you can just go like, oh, there's a game in here I want to play, and there's a game in here I want to play. So you just switch.
And then you can switch them, exactly.
And that's why it's called a Nintendo Switch.
The important part is you could switch the games, and that makes it fun for us as a dad and son, because we get to enjoy the games, maybe not simultaneously, but we still get to enjoy them together. And we can have our own game saves and our own consoles. Now, we don't have two of these new Switches. Well, we technically do. One of these will go back. So one of you guys out there who maybe didn't get one will be able to buy one at the retail level, not at the scalper level. Definitely don't go out and buy the scalper level one. Wait. It will be worth your time. I don't know how much they're selling for the scalper level as the recording of this video, and we're recording this video the day of release. That is the only difference between the basic and the Mario Kart Bundle, if you were wondering. Now, if you're a physical copy gamer like we are, then you would I definitely recommend to buy the basic and forgo the bundle. Now, the bundle is the more popular one, so you are less likely to find this. It doesn't mean it's necessarily better, especially if you're a physical game person like us. Now that you guys know what the differences are, you can make your decision hopefully a little better. And if you already knew that, thanks for hanging in here with us while we get that out of the way. So we're gonna go ahead and take this one out of the way. And I know I said that I would rather have the physical copy, but eventually I think we'll probably end up getting another Switch and we'll need two of them anyways, if we want to play Mario Kart together. And that's where it gets you. You need two games if you play with two people on two Switches, if you want to play at the same time. So back to what we got here. We are going to unbox this thing. We're going to show you guys what comes inside. And speaking of what comes inside, this is where this is going to come in. When we were at the store, look at all this cool stuff they got. Which one are we getting?
We asked Best Buy if this thingamabobber came in this thingamabobber.
Doesn't it come with that thing?
No. No, it doesn't come with this, right? No.
So we bought one just in case because we wanted to make sure that we had a way to hold two of the Joy-Cons. And if you watched the video of when we picked this up, I went to Target and picked up quite a few of the accessories that they have, the official Nintendo accessories.
They have a nice display out here in the front, which has a bunch of accessories YouTube, so I got my stuff here.
I picked up a few other accessories that I'm excited to show you guys, but I didn't want to take away from the Switch 2. We will feature those on a separate video. Make sure you hit that bell button down below so that way you know when we release our newest game content on the channel here.
Don't forget the like button and the subscribe button. Those are for free, and let's get into the Switch 2, shall we?
Okay. Let's find out if we get one of these in here, so that way you guys also know whether or not you really actually need to buy one of these.
And if Best Buy lied.
I guess we wouldn't say they lied. Maybe they just didn't know either. And they should probably watch this video so that they will be able to know.
Do it. Do it.
Let's see what we got here. We're going to show you the box really quick. There's the front of the box, Nintendo Switch 2. This is the Mario Bundle version shown by the little sticker there. This is the back of the box, the top of the box, the bottom of the box, and the side, and finally, the other side of the box. Let's see what comes inside of this Nintendo Switch number 2 bundle. And we really enjoy the regular Nintendo Switch, so this is going to be something that we are super excited about having, because we really enjoy playing all the games that they have on the Switch. They're just family friendly and a lot of fun. We're going to open this up. We got our knife here, and we are going to show you guys what's inside of the new Switch 2 that is pretty awesome, I think. I'm very excited to get this Switch console open, so we're going to break
I mean,
the
at
seal
least
right
we
here.
hope it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, we hope it's pretty awesome. I mean, the original Switch was so awesome that I really can't see.
Switch was so awesome for you, and it's awesome for me, but I didn't get to experience what it was like when something new came out, you know?
What do you mean by that?
Like camping. I've never experienced that
Oh, that's
before.
true, yes.
And how fun it was
Kai
to
never
experience.
got to experience the Switch being new. I mean, it was new to him, but it didn't come out as a new
Thing.
device. It was just new to him, which is still awesome and great. And the Switch has been a wonderful gaming console, and we still enjoy it. We're going to keep ours around. We're not going to be selling our Switch 1 because we got the Switch 2.
I mean, I guess you can call it a Switch 1 now.
But it is a way that you could get a bit of money off of your Switch 2 if you were interested in doing that. You could also backwards compatibility most of your games. We're going to try that out too. I'm going to do a video on the backwards compatibility of all the games that we have, so that way you guys will know if they work or don't work. And we're also going to do a video of booting this thing up and starting it and playing it and seeing all the cool features about it for the first time. Make sure that you come back, check it all out, and see what the Switch 2 is all about. Are you ready for this, Kai? Are you guys ready for this? Here we go. We are opening this up for the first time, and everybody gets to enjoy that with us. If you didn't get your hands on a Switch, you can definitely enjoy all of this with us. Unfortunately, you don't get to touch it all, but that is okay because we believe you will get yours soon, and we hope that all of you out there are enjoying your new Switches if you got them, your new Switch 2s, or even your Switch 1s, or if you're just enjoying your Switch 1, that is just as awesome too, because the Pokemon games are playable on just about anything.
It's very black.
It is very black. So we've got one blue controller here.
And the other red Joy-Con. Wow.
And we've got our Switch console. There it is right there.
What is the back of this thing?
It's in all the packaging still. We'll get it out of the package in just a moment. But let's get everything out of the box first. So the packaging is very nice. It's very high quality. It's very similar to the regular Switch one. So here it is right here, YouTube. We get a redeem card for the game. You download it to your Switch, and it's stuck on your account, and you can't take it out, you can't take it off, and there it is. It will just stay there. So we got one redeemable download card, and that is probably also why they only just put a simple sticker on the outside, because basically they can change that at any point in time. They could have any kind of game they want in there pretty much. All right, we are going to lift this up here. We've got a Switch 2 instruction manual. We've got
a charger.
Well, actually, I don't know. That's a health and safety guide, not actually an instructional manual. And this says this is an ultra HDMI cable, which means that it's a very high speed one. So if you want to use the Switch 2, you definitely need to have an ultra certified one at its full resolution, at least as far as we're concerned with them putting one of those cables in. We also got a couple of these, which I believe are the Joy-Con sort of straps for your hands. We'll find out what that is for sure. Down to the next layer, we've got, I think that's all that was in there. Just some packaging. We've got...
Oh my goodness.
We do seemingly get one of these inside of your Switch. So if you bought one of these, or if you're thinking that you needed one of these, you do. But it already comes inside, so you don't need to buy an extra unless you buy some extra Joy-Cons. So there it is right there. We do get one of these. See? It's the exact same thing. So don't let anybody fool you. Don't let anybody tell you you have to get one of these because it doesn't come inside of your box. So we will be sending that right back to Best Buy since we don't have more than 2 of the new Joy-Cons. And I don't know if the old Joy-Cons are compatible with the new Switch, especially if they're in like standalone mode. We will see if the original Switch Joy-Cons are compatible with the Switch 2. I think the census was, from the research that I did, is they're not, but we're gonna find out. All right, and the next thing that we got in the box is one of these USB-C cables. It's USB-C to C, and then we also got a high power brick. The next thing that we've got in here is what Kai was asking about a little bit earlier, is does it come with a dock?
Of
And
course.
it certainly does come with a dock. You don't have to buy that separately. So
I don't even think
everything...
you can.
I think you probably can.
Really?
I think so. Maybe not right now, but I'm pretty sure you'll be able to buy one in the future because you
This
could buy
actually-
one for the Switch.
This
In case
actually-
you have like maybe two houses, like your mom's and your dad's, or you have two places that you like to play the Switch and you want to make sure it's docked every time, like the living room TV or the family room TV, and maybe your room TV or the back room TV or your pool house TV or wherever else there might be a TV.
Switch twos. But this actually
Well, you would
feels-
only need the dock, right? Because then you
yeah.
could. That's why they think they might make some new ones. So that's what comes inside of the box, YouTube.
actually feels quite nice.
Does it feel quite nice? Everything package-wise is very nice and very high quality. No cheap parts here.
That's what Nintendo's good at.
Yeah, I believe so. We've got this Switch 2 sort of Joy-Con dock controller holder right there. What's the technical name of it? Let's find out. It's called the Joy-Con 2 Charging Grip. That is what it's called. It's just to use it as a classic style controller. So, it doesn't like charge it or anything. But they should snap right into there. Let's get the Joy-Cons out and see how that works really quick. I'm going to take out this blue one right here.
Here's the right one.
Oh, yes. Look at these. Oh, they're definitely bigger than the old Switch
I like
2
these.
or the old
I
Switch
like
ones.
These. I like these. These are a lot more comfortable.
To play if you're playing in like
Yes.
standalone mode, I guess you
yeah.
could call it. But yeah, that is what it looks like right there. There's a nice view of it. It does have just a bit of blue, a little hint of it right there underneath the joystick and right over here on the sort of, I don't know, I guess you could call it attachment point. There are SL, SR, we've got ZL over here, we've got L up here, and we've got a
Hey,
D-pad over here.
This is not a trigger button. It's like
Oh, is that the release button? It's just a release button for the release of the
Wait, should we
Switch on
snap
the dock.
it in?
Yeah, let's snap it in. Ready?
yeah.
So
how
I
does
think,
it sound? He's kind of.
is it gonna make the sound?
Oh.
It does make a nice firm snap.
Wow.
They're just releases. That's all it does. Oh yeah, it just releases it. So that is the release. It just snaps right
These
in
are
there.
strong magnets.
And then it just
Holy cow.
releases like that. We'll see how those go over time. Nintendo usually makes pretty good
Wait,
stuff.
how
And
does
that's how it looks right there.
That looks so cool.
It does look very
It
cool.
looks so clean.
It
too.
does look very clean. It's just a nice sort of satin black there with these piano black pieces on the sort of handles there. How's it feel in your hand though? That's the big question. It feels okay in my hands, but they're a little bit larger. How's it feel in your hands?
Oh, I like these.
You like it? It's kind of like flat though. It doesn't have a whole lot of dimension to it like a PlayStation 5 controller, the DualShock 5. That's the Switch 2 controller, all docked up if you wanted to use it as more of a classic style controller. We've got these pieces here, which I believe are the sort of wrist straps. So they'll just kind of go on your wrist like that, and you'll tighten up the little toggle there so they can't fly off and crack your TV. And let's see how they dock into the Joy-Cons, the Joy-Con 2s. Oh, so it still has the same like minus and plus on them, and you still got to attach it to the right spots on here. So you just stick it right on there like that. And you got to put the bottom part in first because it has a little notch on it. You see that notch? It fits into that part. You got to put the bottom part in first, and then it clicks together. Oh, that's pretty nice. I believe this also, this part here, this black part, makes it so it can slide around easily on the table for mouse mode, which I believe is a cool feature for the new Switch 2.
How do I?
Okay, so first, we got to make sure that we line up the plus with the plus, okay? And then you put the bottom part in first, and then clicks right in.
Okay.
There it is. But yeah, so that does actually, it
that
stands
feels
up pretty
great.
good. Yeah, that is nice. I like that. We'll see how that functionality works. I'm not entirely sure about that. Let's move on to the rest of the stuff. So we got our power brick right here. Seems to be a pretty standard power brick. It is heavy though, I must admit. It is a pretty heavy one. It's a much heavier than the one that comes with the original Switch. And this one appears to be output 5 volts, 9 volts, 15 volts, and 20 volts at the respective 3 amps, 27 watts, 45 watts, and 60 watts. So it's a pretty high power one, but it is pretty compact. So it's not like you got this big bulky thing that you got to put in your luggage, assuming you're tanking this thing around. Because the Switch is supposed to be portable. That's kind of like one of the things for it, right? We got a nice USB-C cable here. Actually, it doesn't really look that nice. It is one of the more cheaper looking pieces from Nintendo Switch 2. It does have the Nintendo logo on the ends there, so it is an official product. It's not just a little cheap one, even though it feels kind of cheap. I think that the one that came with the Switch 1 was a little bit nicer, especially considering for the power cord, but I guess that's maybe like USB A to C, so a little different. The USB-C cord isn't the best, I don't feel like. And then we'll move on to our nice HDMI cable.
I don't know what that is.
This is the part that connects it to the TV.
Ooh.
So it connects the dock to the TV. And this is supposed to be some kind of special HDMI Ultra one. And it has that little label out there, which means it's supposed to be super high speed. If you're not getting the throughput and you're trying to use an older cable, maybe just try the one straight out of the packaging there.
What do I feel like this is like satisfying?
I don't know. But you definitely feel like it's satisfying. Moving on to the next
Switch.
piece, which is the dock.
The dock.
And the dock looks like this. It's
It's
of rounded
round.
in the back. It says Nintendo right there. And then on the front side, it has Switch 2.
It's a round
And it's
boy.
very rounded. Yes, it's very rounded for sure. And this little panel comes off on the back, very similar to the original Switch. And on the back, we've got a couple of spots here which says AC adapter, HDMI, LAN. So this one has a LAN port. I don't think the original one had a LAN port. I think maybe the OLED one did, but the original one I don't believe had a LAN port on it. We'll get out and do some comparison when we compare the original Switch to the Switch 2. But that's the dock there. It's much sort of nicer looking piece than the original Switch dock in my opinion. And finally, we've got the actual console right there in the packaging. Let's pull it out. Now, I do believe there's something floating around about not peeling off the protective coating on the screen. So don't pull off the protective coating on the screen. I guess there is one. It doesn't really look like there's any kind of protective coating on the screen. Yeah, try not to drop it because then it might not work.
To drop it.
It does have this neat little kickstand here. A big improvement over the original Switch when they released it kickstand. That is a big improvement because the old one used to just fall over. And if you have original Switch, you know what I'm talking about. It was a very poor design or afterthought, I felt like. And on the Switch 2 console, we've got a couple of things here. We've got our game card door right here.
Wait, how big
and
is
that
that
just opens
slot?
like that.
Dang, that's huge.
It looks like it's about the same size as the regular Switch one, and I would think it would be because the game cartridges can be backwards compatible. So that has to be probably very similar. We've got a headphone jack, which is nice. You can put an analog headphone jack right into there. I know some people like their Bluetooth stuff, and it probably works with Bluetooth, but it's just nice to have that little jack there, especially when you're playing on an airplane and you don't have your Bluetooth headphones, or if you're just trying to play in your room and you don't have a set of Bluetooth headphones, or you like your wired headphones like me. I like my wired headphones.
I like Bluetooth.
Bluetooth's nice and convenient, but I do sometimes just like the wired headphones. We've got a USB-C port on the top here. I'm not sure if that port is for input or output or both, but I would just assume that that is the output one. And also on the top, we've got maybe like a vent for cooling. I'm not sure, possibly. And we've got this little sensor looks like spot right there. We've also got a volume up and down switch and a power switch. Very similar to the one that was on the Switch 1 and the OLED. And then on the bottom, we got some more vents in it and a USB-C port, which I believe is the charging port, I believe. Or maybe you can charge out of both, and this is just the one that's convenient when it's in the dock.
How do the Joy-Cons fit on the...
Let's find out. So I think it's that seemed like it fit in there pretty good. You got it? And we are going to undock this one from the wrist strap, and we are going to dock this right onto there. How does it feel? It looks pretty big, if I might say so. It has a very big sort of hand size there. It definitely seems like it's more along the lines of like the PS Portal. That is a pretty big console right there, if you ask me. for sure.
It's a round boy.
Let's see how it stands up though.
That
There it
stands
is.
up nice.
It does stand up quite nicely right out of the box there.
That's nice.
Especially for a revision 1. I don't know if they'll make a revision 2, but that is a very nice stand.
Nintendo Switch 2 OLED.
Does this have an OLED? I don't know. Maybe. Now that we got everything out of the box, we are going to show you what the differences are between Switch 1 and 2, besides the obvious ones that it's the new one, okay? I was mentioning earlier the dock. This is the OLED dock. This is the Switch 2 dock, and you can see they are a pretty big difference in size. Look at that. This one, which is the OLED dock, does have a LAN port in the back. The original Switch dock does not. And I'm not going to compare the original Switch and the OLED stuff. We're just comparing Switch 1 versus Switch 2. The next thing that we're going to compare is the size of the Switch itself. So my boy has his Switch here, and this is the OLED version. So it is the same physical dimensions, but it does have quite a few differences internally. But look at the size difference between the two of these. This is the Switch 1 and this is the Switch 2.
Oh my god.
That is a pretty big difference. This thing is enormous compared to the Switch 1. And that might cause a little bit of problem for a child to hold this. Compared to the Switch 1, my boy, how do you feel like this is going to be to hold?
So, portably, I'd go with the Switch 1.
It is significantly smaller.
But if we're bringing it to like Starbucks or something, yeah. Dude, I'll pull it out. We'll play on it.
All right. Well, there you have it. Kai says that he would play on it, but portability-wise, the Switch 1 is a little bit better. Let's compare the Joy-Cons. The Joy-Cons to remove on the Switch 2 are significantly easier. You push the little release button on the back, and that's it. Now, the Switch 1, you had to slide them out and push this little button on the back to slide them out, which could at sometimes be a little bit tricky. Kai noticed that, I've noticed that sometimes it doesn't push as well and slide as easily as you'd like it to. The physical comparison, they are definitely different in size as well. They have almost the same button layout on them, X, B, A, Y, and the joystick's similar. It has this new button here though that says C, which we're not really sure what C is for. That's interesting. The next thing we gotta compare is the piece that, according to Best Buy, does not come in the box. And we are going to click them together, the Switch 2 and the Switch 1 sort of accessory controller, classic style. And then we're gonna see how this looks. Kind of clicked. There is the new Switch 2 classic style adapter controller, and here is the Switch 1 right here. As you can see, there is a pretty big difference in size. How do you feel is it to hold that controller versus this controller?
This is a lot bigger for my hands, and I like this one better.
So there you have it, YouTube. If you're thinking about buying this for your child, then I'm not saying it's a bad system or anything like that, but the Switch 1 is definitely more comfortable handheld wise, and if you're using the Joy-Cons in this classic controller wise. Now, in my opinion, I don't think that really makes so much difference whether or not the classic controller style is a little bigger or not. But what does make a difference is holding the whole unit by itself. I think that if you have small hands, it might be a little difficult to hold this thing, at least for long durations, and especially if you are used to your Switch 1. And it might just be something that you need to get used to. We'll find out. Stay tuned on the channel. We'll let you know. That is a cool sound. Just clicks right in there. They do have other controller options available. They have the Pro controller and some aftermarket controllers or officially licensed controllers, just not made by Nintendo.
So one thing I see here on this guy right here is that the buttons are way bigger.
They are bigger, but the whole controller is bigger, so that would make sense.
Also, the thumbsticks, the joysticks, I don't like because I think they're too wide. Like, look at the old one. See how, like, thin they are compared to this?
You mean like the size, the diameter of them, the
Yeah,
outside?
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, overall, physically, it's a lot smaller on the Switch 1 than the Switch 2, and everything is just kind of a little bit bigger all around on everything, all scales of it.
Satisfaction level. You know how there's like something that's like really satisfying, like where you like push or like squeeze something? This is what that is. This is so satisfying.
Well, there you go. The releasing and connecting of the controllers onto the classic controller for the Switch 2 is very satisfying.
I mean, it's cool to have them like slide on, but like that's just so much cooler.
An improved design.
I wish there were magnets on this one.
Well, there are magnets on the Switch 2, and they do attach with magnets and hold on to the sides, and they seem like they will stick on there pretty good. It doesn't seem like they'll just fly off. Unless you're getting really rowdy with the controller, then maybe, but if you're getting that rowdy, it might be time to take a break.
One thing I do like about the Joy-Cons is that they can be turned into a mouse.
Yes, that is a new feature, and we will show you guys about all the features and how it works and power it all up on a future video. We just want to do an unboxing on this, a little comparison with the old Switch, and we are very excited to start using this new Switch, and we will take you through that on a different video in the future. That's the end of the game for today.
Game over.
And if you guys are enjoying the games, then consider clicking one of these. And we'll see you guys
On that game.